539 BC. The most formidable city on earth is holding its breath. Babylon. Its walls are legendary, so thick that chariots could reportedly race atop them. Its gates are bronze, its defenses are thought to be impenetrable. Inside, the king feels safe. Outside, the world is changing. A shadow is falling across the Mesopotamian sun, and it belongs to a man who started with nothing but a title from a small, dusty corner of the world. His name is Cyrus. But history will remember him as something much greater. To understand how this man stood at the gates of the greatest city in antiquity, we have to look back to where it all began. Not in a palace of gold, but in the rugged highlands of Anshan. In the mid-6th century BC, Persia was not a superpower. It was a collection of tribes, a secondary player in a game dominated by the Median Empire. Cyrus was a prince of the Persians, but he was a vassal to his own grandfather, the Median king Astyages. The world expected the Persians to remain in the shadows. They were wrong. In 550 BC, the unthinkable happened. Cyrus rose up. He didn't just challenge the Medes, he dismantled their authority. He united the Iranian tribes under a single vision. This wasn't just a rebellion, it was the birth of a new identity. But Cyrus was restless. His eyes turned westward toward the wealthy kingdom of Lydia in Anatolia. The Lydian king Croesus was legendary for his riches, but he underestimated the speed of the Persian advance. Cyrus moved with a pace that defied the military logic of the time. Lydia fell. Then came the east, the wild frontiers of Central Asia. Piece by piece, the puzzle of an empire was being assembled. Yet, as his shadow grew, so did a strange rumor. This conqueror was different. He didn't just destroy, he preserved. Then came the ultimate prize, Babylon, the jewel of the ancient world. For years, the city had been the center of power, science, and religion. But it was also a place of deep unrest. Captive peoples, including thousands of Jews, had been held there in exile for generations, their temples destroyed, their hope fading. They watched the horizon. They heard of the Persian king who didn't burn cities to the ground. In 539 BC, the moment of truth arrived. The gates of Babylon didn't fall to a battering ram. They opened. The entry of Cyrus into Babylon is one of the most significant moments in human history. There was no massacre, there was no widespread looting. Instead, there was a decree. Cyrus did something no conqueror before him had dared to do. He told the people they were free to stay, free to leave, most importantly, free to worship their own gods. He permitted the exiled Jews to return to their homeland and provided the means to rebuild their sacred temples. He captured a city not by breaking its spirit, but by restoring its dignity. This policy was etched into a small clay object we now call the Cyrus cylinder. It wasn't a boast of blood and conquest, it was a declaration of restoration. It spoke of returning displaced populations and honoring local traditions. Today, many see this as the world's first charter of human rights. It was a revolutionary idea that a ruler's strength is measured not by the fear he instills, but by the freedom he protects. This was the DNA of the Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus laid the foundation for a state that would eventually span 5.5 million square kilometers, stretching from the edge of India to the shores of Greece. His successors, like Darius the Great, would build the royal roads and the magnificent palaces of Persepolis. But the heart of the empire was always the vision Cyrus left behind. He proved that an empire could be diverse and still be unified. He showed that tolerance was a more effective tool of governance than tyranny. The empire he built eventually fell to Alexander the Great. Persepolis was burned, the gold was looted, but the soul of what Cyrus created could not be extinguished. Over 5,000 years, through invasions by Greeks, Arabs, and Mongols, the identity of this land remained unbreakable. It absorbed its conquerors, it preserved its language and its poetry. The story of Cyrus is not just the story of a king, it is the story of an idea that refuses to die. The man from Anshan died over 2,000 years ago, buried in a simple stone tomb that still stands today. But his true monument isn't made of stone, it's found in the very concept of human liberty. He taught the world that the most powerful thing a conqueror can do is put down the sword and offer a hand. In a world often defined by what divides us, his legacy remains a haunting reminder that true greatness is found in the courage to be kind.